This episode is sponsored by Lendlord. If you want 3 months free of premium access to the app, you can click the link down below and it'll grant you that. Thanks so much for watching. All right, guys, welcome to episode 20 of the Canadian Real Estate Homefront Podcast. We got lots to talk about today. Home builders, Canada not building enough houses, immigrants, immigration, everything.
The perfect storm,
as we
like to call it.
Yeah. All right, let's get to topic one here. So 67% of home builders, developers say, they're building fewer units as the market slows. The Canadian Home Builders Association released its housing marketing index for Wednesday. So basically what they're saying is that since rates are so high, they're not building as much.
Well, it makes sense. The construction loans and their margins, it just doesn't work.
Margins aren't working right now.
Margins aren't there for developers to continue to start new construction projects.
And I guess the ironic thing is that we're trying to take in more skilled workers right now, but also 44,000 skilled workers in the construction industry just got laid off, basically because, again, builders are just not building right now because the margins don't make sense. So they're not going to build. They're a capitalistic company. They have to make money. They have to pay people. And if they can't do that and they're losing money, they're not going to build. So at these high rates right now, we need more housing starts. We need more homes, but we can't do that because rates are too high in a sense. So I don't actually think it's a builder shortage right now because they're having to lay people off.
Right.
Does that make sense? I think it makes sense.
Yeah, it's interesting because they have the accelerator immigration program or something. If you're skilled, if you're a plumber, electrician, whatever in the trades sector, you can accelerate your application process to come here as an immigrant quicker because we need more people that can help us essentially build. But I'd want to see what their plan is, because are they planning for these immigrants to work for these developers privately? Because it's always been the private sector, right? It's not like government hires construction workers to build houses. It's developers buying the land and then hiring their own teams bid on the construction jobs, right?
Right.
And that's where we're seeing the layoffs. So I was saying in the last podcast that these immigrants that are coming and being accelerated into being an immigrant in our country, they're going to be competing for jobs with these 45,000 people that just got laid off that also want to continue working in the construction industry. Mm-hmm. So unless they're going to be directly working with the government in a way to get homes built, developers have their pick right now. The developers aren't building. But if they were going to, there's 45,000 people
who just got
ready
laid
and
off.
willing to work. And if the margins aren't there, we're just adding to the pool of people. We're essentially increasing our job unemployment numbers is what we'd essentially be doing. And then
we're increasing our immigration numbers to try and get more skilled workers, but the skilled workers are going to be competing with the people who just got laid off. So we're going to have less supply of homes for these immigrants to come in. This is just a perfect storm of more.
It is a perfect storm. It's just the government just needs to be more involved in getting homes built.
Yeah.
It's essentially what it is. There's so much money in taxes that can be put toward that. Whether even moving things around, because this has been and is our biggest crisis right now in Canada.
Selling off buildings is what they should do.
It is higher than, we go through different crises over the years, like the drugs and like healthcare. And there's a lot right now. Like healthcare workers are beside themselves. Like there's a lot of crises, but our housing market is number one, and it has been for a long time. Mm-hmm. So unless the government is directly employing these people to help build houses.
Yeah. Well, Justin Trudeau did say recently that, it's just a snippet, but he did say that the building of homes, and I'm paraphrasing, is not a federal issue, but it is a federal issue because federally.
But immigration is controlled by the federal government.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if
which
you're going to
is a direct correlation to.
Hey, we need more immigrants because we want to help
build more housing. Yeah.
You're just making it essentially harder.
Yeah.
Unless you're on both ends. Hey, I'm increasing the amount of immigration because this is my plan for over here.
Yeah.
You can't just say, like, he's at 50%. Okay, great. love the idea of more immigrants that are skilled, that it can bang out houses. But like, what's the plan for them? Because there's also 45,000 people that aren't working due to
high interest rates and margins not working, and also people not being able to pay. If people were willing to pay the amount for these pre-construction units, then people could get to work, but people can't afford to pay that number anymore. So now what do? So now we have more people coming in, supplies going down. It's probably going to dwindle down even more. And you still have the immigration, whatever his title is saying that they are going to keep the same numbers that they're at. So we just had 1 million. So they're most likely going to keep up with that number and even explore having more people come into Canada, because he says, and this is our second topic, Canada absolutely can't build more houses without more immigrants, is what the minister says. So we're in this like double-edged sword. So Canada's housing crisis cannot be solved without the aid of new immigrants who bring their skills here. Immigration Minister Mark Miller told reporters on Friday. The federal government is making housing more affordable and bringing in the skilled workers required to build more homes. It's just, it's so ironic.
It is ironic, but let's kind of dive a little bit deeper into this. So people misunderstand that the Bank of Canada is not the government.
Yeah, they're an independent.
They're completely independent. So it's not the government that's setting this overnight rate. The rates are high because of the Bank of Canada, okay? Setting that. Yes, they had to do that because the government, what they put in place during COVID, printing money, they're trying to slow down inflation that they're saying kind of was a cause of the federal government's solutions during COVID.
Right.
Inflation was too high. But the Bank of Canada sets the overnight rate. So if the federal government sees, okay, if rates come down, at that point, if things kind of get more affordable, we want more people here to be able to build houses or at that time. Because again, it's not like Justin Trudeau is saying, hey, I'm bringing in this many more immigrants that are skilled that can build all these houses, but I'm also keeping the rate this high. They are not related. Yes, there's definitely a bunch of ties between the two, but the Bank of Canada and the federal government are completely independent from each other, and that's what I think people don't
quite get that. And the Bank of Canada has said that immigration is fueling inflation too. So, I'm paraphrasing it. They didn't say it word for word, but Tiff Macklin and the lady that works with them did say that immigration is also being a factor in inflation. So without that slowing, which it doesn't look like it's going to anytime soon, I just wonder like why the Liberals have this platform when people are speaking so highly about, hey, we have a crisis here. And then just to say like, we're going to keep immigration high. We're going to make sure housing prices they're not going to come down a lot, but we're going to build more supply for people. It just, when you just think about that logically, it doesn't even make sense.
The politics make me mentally tired right now, because it almost needs to be like a frickin' back to high school where you have a Bristol board and it's like, this is what the Liberals are doing. This is like where, because people are confused.
Yeah.
Because one person's saying one thing, another person's saying another thing. It's like, what's going to happen to immigration? What's going to happen here? And like, see the contrast.
Yeah.
Because even when I listen to Pierre Poilievre, I agree with a lot of the stuff that he says.
Yeah.
I think he's very, very right wing. I think he needs to come back a little bit with his anyways, that's another conversation. But I agree with a lot of what he's saying. But I don't see an immediate solution with him either, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, I understand, like, all for more affordable housing and Justin Trudeau screwed up and blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. You hate him. You hate everything he's done. You're in for the people.
Yeah.
But, like, what is going to happen? You're in power. What's your first move? And I don't know. Ask anybody that. What's his first move?
Well, no, it is. He's been pretty vocal about it. His first move is to he's not going to provide funding for municipalities if they don't build. If they take away that red tape, things need to get done quicker, is what he's saying. He's going to sell off government buildings because there's a lot of unused government buildings.
Right.
So we're going to transform that. At least it's a plan.
That's all well and good, but it's so hypothetical too, because you can't just sell off a government building.
Well, he has the power. He is the government.
There's so many people that it needs to go through multiple levels before the president or the prime minister puts something in place. It's not just him being like, hey, we're going to do this, let's do it.
I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but it's a way better option than what's going on right now. It's just, different faces, same result.
Okay. And then because this all seems like a good idea. So I don't like Justin Trudeau. I don't think he's the stupidest person in the world. He became prime minister for a reason. So he can't be that stupid. So isn't he being like, okay, yeah, that's a good idea? Or is he focused on other issues that are also
He's focused on raising taxes for Canadians through the carbon tax and killing projects for our natural resources, to be honest. I just don't think he has any idea what he's doing at this point. It's just, your housing minister is saying something that doesn't make economical sense. We're going to immigrate more skilled workers who also need a place to live, and they're going to magically build more houses for us when we also have people getting laid off. I mean, it just doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Again, it's
we're
running in circles.
Yeah, running in circles.
But
and house prices keep going up. Rent keeps going up. I know house prices have come down, but the affordability aspect of trying to get a mortgage right now is insane, which is leading people to having to rent, which we have a 1% or less vacancy in the GTA. I know people who are just fill out applications just to get rejected. They're filling out these applications just knowing I'm never going to get this place. And I'm hardworking. I do my best every single day. I'm already at my wit's end paying $2,500 a month for a 1-bedroom. My expenses are $3,500 a month. I'm just living paycheck to paycheck, and I actually have a good job. It's sad to see.
So interesting. I want to know, when immigrants come here, okay, they fill out their application in a different country. Yeah, I want to move to Canada because I want a better life, whatever. And they get here, okay, plane ticket, arrive. You're in Pearson. Yeah. Okay, now what? Is there a plan? Do they even set out, okay, when you land here, like the whole immigration process? Interesting to know how that looks. Because if you're just saying, yep, approved, do they just come here and, okay, go for it?
I guess so. I guess they hope to try and get some work, right? I think that most people that do leave the country, I don't think you're in poverty leaving the country of India or somewhere like that. I'm pretty sure you're probably at the more upper end, like, because if you're in poverty, you can't even afford a plane ticket. So I was listening to one podcast and one lady was talking about it. She said that, I think she was from the Philippines, and only the richest people are able to immigrate to another country because they actually have the means to do so. So you still need means to get up and leave. So she was saying that, yeah, people are still coming here with money for the most part. But obviously not everyone, because there are hotels and stuff that are getting filled, and there are these tent cities that are happening, and a lot of them are refugees. So it would be interesting to dive into that a little bit more, or even have more transparency on what actually happens.
I would love to know that. We should interview somebody. Yeah,
it would be cool to know, if you are letting in 1 million people, what's the plan? Why? Who are you letting in? For what reason? Are they doctors? Because I was talking to a girl this morning. She needs a surgery. It's a year wait. Why is it a year wait? Why is it so long? Should we not get more doctors working who want to come from different countries like India? Because if I feel like it's such a hard process to transfer from one country to another, versus should it just be one exam? Should they get approved before even coming here? It seems like it's very easy, but there might be something that I'm personally missing. But maybe
I would love to know the process.
I would love to know the process. Yeah,
we should interview, because we can research. Sure.
Yeah.
No. I want somebody's like experience of saying, I think I want to move to another country, from that moment to where you are now, maybe a year later.
Yeah.
If you fit that criteria, DM us.
Yeah, DM us. Yeah, but it's almost like it's hidden, right? Like it's almost like,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know anything. Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people don't. And the only way you get stories is from people who've actually personally done it. They've moved from one country to Canada, and then you start getting these stories on different podcasts or in news articles and stuff like that we've read aloud. But it seems very like under the covers sort of thing.
It is.
Yeah,
a lot of under the cover.
Yeah. Anyways, Canada is a mess right now, I feel.
Well, what are we compared to right now? China, North Korea, and Canada, the only three.
Yeah.
Going off topic here, but the only three countries that can't see news.
Yeah. That was crazy. To me, that was big. Like when I tried to put that news story on our Instagram story and I couldn't, and it was rejected. It was like, are you kidding me?
How does it know? It's AI?
I guess it's just because of the location that we're in. It just blocks it.
But the article, it knew it was something to do with news or something?
Well, I guess it has news in the headline. It must be like some trigger word that hits, but it literally just said you cannot share. Unfortunately, it was like due to the Canadian laws, you cannot share this story.
What do you think is behind that?
The bill C-18.
Yeah, I know, but why? What's the reason?
Because they're saying that you have to give a certain amount of Canadian news, right? And these big tech companies are like, no, we're going to filter in what I think makes the most money or what our algorithm suggests to people. So they're just saying, we're not going to work with you anymore, and they're just cutting it out.
So only Canadian news is allowed to be shared on.
I don't think it's only Canadian news, but it's mostly Canadian news. And if you think about who funds these Canadian news outlets, it's the government. So CBC is heavily funded by the government. It's my blanket understanding of what's going on.
I wonder if that's going to start to happen on like TV, and like we're just going to be.
Well, I think it's also happened. Like even YouTube creators are coming out who are Canadian content creators and are like, this is insane. Like this makes no sense.
Well, to become a Canadian approved content creator, whatever, you have to go through a process. Even if you're from like us, we wouldn't necessarily be approved, essentially, like unless we went through a complete
different process.
Yeah, like I was listening to some girl that went through it, and it's ridiculous to be on the approved Canadian content news list, whatever.
To be on the right side of change.
So crazy.
So crazy. This episode is brought to you by Lendlord. Lendlord's an easy-to-use app that is perfect for landlords or property investors. It allows you to track your cash flow or IRR, and there's a suite of other features within the app. You can get started for free down below in the description, and you can even use it as a deal analyzer that will help you make the right decision on your first rental property. We thank you guys so much for the support, and we're so excited that we're partnering with Lendlord. All right, topic 3. Let's get on here. Does Ontario need to build on the Greenbelt to ease the housing crisis? Not so fast, says some experts. This has been talked about a lot. So in a bombshell report, Provincial Auditor General Bonnie Lysyk, I might be butchering your name, and I'm sorry, said no, suggesting that developing parcels of formerly protected land would come with a ton of problems. She said that infrastructure and services, it's a conclusion echoed by numerous planning and developing experts who say that land availability is not blocking home construction. So Housing Minister Stephen Clark told reporters Wednesday that opening the Greenbelt was needed to meet the 10-year housing targets. We can build more homes, or we can sit back and let this crisis get worse. Also, Doug Ford chimed in and said that's true. So a lot of people are arguing that the answer isn't sprawl into further reaches of the GTA, but targeting more construction to already service pieces of land where new development can move fast. So basically, like,
I get it.
Yeah.
I'm torn.
Making more density happen.
I
think the Greenbelt is a big topic of discussion. Although they're moving the land somewhere else, people are very, especially in today's day and age right now, they're very environment sensitive. It's kind of the buzzword.
Like people, especially close to the green. Like if you owned a house and you're on the Greenbelt, like who wants construction in and around what you're used to as just being land around you? I get it. I also get what they're saying in the sense that, okay, and I was saying this, I'm like, there's land everywhere in Canada, which there is, but there is a lot of infrastructure needed, and that's a lot of tax money to create a city that can house that many people. Otherwise, people are commuting, which would need more infrastructure anyways. So if the land is there and ready and able to be built on, where there's already transit infrastructure, community centers, way more jobs, it's easier than using the land further out. Maybe that's not on the Greenbelt, but then having to build these huge communities, having to build more infrastructure because there'll be more people commuting to wherever there's more jobs. So I see what they're saying. Like, where is the Greenbelt? It's Niagara all the way to Pickering to Vaughan. I think that's the Greenbelt.
That they want to try to...
I think that is the Greenbelt. It's 2 million acres is what it is.
It's a lot of land, I think Polyev, too, said he was going to... one of his policies was to build a lot more around densely populated transit so people don't need cars. So they can actually, go to work without
I don't
a
hate
car,
that.
which is a great idea.
I was in, when I went to Europe last year, I was in a bunch of different cities, and I always was like, okay, I need to rent a car. Like, I don't want to walk everywhere. I don't want to take a bus. But then cities that have good transit, Paris, excellent. I've never seen a transit system better than that. I was like, I don't like to use the subway. I'd way rather drive, even if it's a little bit of traffic. I'm like, I don't know how to figure all this out. I don't want to take a bus. It's just too much going on for me to follow a route. But it was so good. And I was like, you do not need a car in a city like Paris. So if we had something like that, then people would drive.
I think even just having Andrew on, who's from Niagara, even if you do start building out there, right? But there's no jobs really out there, like unless you're going to work at a winery or something like that. Like he even said there's no Sobeys, there's no like really the infrastructure isn't quite there yet. So like, who's going to move there,
So
be making $100,000 a year and afford these houses? Like, not many people.
okay, so let's like look at the future here. AI is already replacing a lot of jobs in their self-checkout in these old age homes. AI is like just replacing a bunch of jobs. So a lot of things are moving to remote where AI can't necessarily replace the human aspect 100% when it comes to mindless things, sure. But people that work remote totally can live in Niagara, but it also has to do with the fact that it needs to be a community. Like Niagara on the Lake is beautiful, don't get me wrong, but like, what about a community center? What about an ice rink to go play with hockey with your friends? What about children's soccer? Like, there's not enough of a community, a library to go study, like things like that.
Yeah.
That will attract enough people because there is enough of the population that works remotely. Like tons and tons of people can work from home now.
Yeah.
Tons.
And a lot of people still want to be in these densely populated areas because it gives them life. People want to be where people are.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
you don't want to be secluded.
no, God, no.
You'll go crazy.
Yeah. I don't even know if it could be something you look into for sure, but I don't know how many people will be running to go live there. I think that building more in densely populated areas already, although I know it's going to create more traffic and different things like that. But if you do have a better transit system where people don't need cars, that could be a solution too. But also, it's going to be densely populated where there are a lot of jobs and people want to be. So that's just the reality of living in a city.
Back to the perfect storm, because we need more job opportunities for more productivity for cities to be built better and quicker that are, I guess, within an hour radius of Toronto, that we can kind of expand more than we are. But with inflation being high, they want the unemployment numbers to be high. So it's just like, here we are in a circle. Immigration, job vacancies, and unemployment. Like we're in circles.
I do think that, people are asking me about the market, what's going to happen. We've talked about this before. If unemployment is the last shoe to drop, if people start really losing their jobs, which has kind of been happening behind the scenes a little bit at the banks and stuff, I haven't seen the headlines a lot, just more anecdotal stuff that I watch on YouTube. If people can't afford to pay their mortgage, then we see pain. Then we see, people are already struggling with variable rates, but they're getting paid well. They're just hanging on. If we start seeing a lot of job losses in the sectors that overhired, like tech, like banking, like most companies did during anything e-commerce sort of thing, but most companies did overhire during COVID. Look at the construction industry, that just got laid off. 44,000 people, I don't know, say half of them had a mortgage. 22,000 people are out of work or who have to pay a mortgage or something like that. And people got to pay rent, people got to buy food. It's, it's the last kind of shoe to drop. So it'll be an interesting metric to watch. I think going into the fall, we'll see more unemployment as rates stay high. And I know I hate to sound eerie, but it's kind of what you need right now in terms of bringing inflation down and, having this purge of people who are going to be caught swimming naked when the tide comes out.
Yeah, I hear that. And so I hear, based on what you said, would probably translate into people's minds like, ooh, I should wait till the fall then to buy because there's going to be more pain and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But there's not that many people that bought during COVID that are struggling on a variable rate. There is so much resiliency in Canada. There's so many people that have equity in their houses that could sell, not take as much profit because you have equity. Sell or if you absolutely need to. There's not too many or not a big enough population of people in Canada that are underwater so much that would create an entire blanket effect. I don't think. I don't think
so either.
I don't think we're like, now is the time to buy because there's so much pain. There's not enough people. There's way too many people that are mortgage free, are renting, or have enough equity in their house to just sell, maybe drop the price a little bit, don't take as much profit and downsize, whatever. Yeah. I think there is enough solutions for Canadians. Yes, there's a small percent of the population that is going to feel pain, and some people might get a great deal. Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't think there's going to be this whole wave of eeriness. Like people are, I think COVID was so sudden and quick that now people are like just waiting. It's like, oh, it's going to be eerie. And I just think people are going to try to do the best they can. And there is creative ways and solutions that.
I mean, the bank's already working with people now. What's going to make them not work?
So.
Yeah. Unless OFC does something too. There's things that we don't know about, but we'll see what happens, and we'll keep you guys updated on this podcast.
We're going to be in January before you know it, and people are already like, oh, October, everyone's going to be in pain.
It's going to be in pain.
It's going to be similar, like you said. I think it's just going to trade sideways. There are great deals to be had right now, 100%, with the prices being lower than your neighbor that bought. Like there's room for growth again. But there's also bad deals. Like it's almost like a market that's just kind of like this. And since we watch it, and people that are so obsessed with the real estate market, there's a ton of people that are obsessed with it. And it's like, oh my God, that it's like something big needs to happen in their mind. Like what is going to happen? Like it's almost like a scary movie. Like when are they going to jump out? I think it's just is what it is right now. There's people in pain. There's people that are not in pain. And we're just going to continue to ride out what's going on. And
yeah, well put.
That's my opinion.
Yeah. I think it's always good to remember that real estate doesn't trade like a stock. So
no, it's not
month to month data doesn't mean a lot. Like it has to be kind of a long-term trend that you're looking at.
Just
so
be smart about what your play is. It's not about, don't buy real estate to make money immediately. Like as your first house, like buy to like, remember what we were saying? Live in it. Make sure you can afford it. Like
a lot of factors that you need to think about before you buy something, but use good realtors like Brooke. All right, our last topic today. Look north for more affordable homes. I thought this one was good. We had one before that people loved on the reels. So anyways, so this was in May of 2023. So not too long ago, but the average priced home in all of Ontario was $922,000, according to data from the Canadian Real Estate Association. And they analyzed 28 cities.
That's pretty high. Does that include condos?
I think it includes everything. Yeah.
Holy that's high.
The best place to buy as of May 2023 in terms of average price. I'm not talking about the area. I'm not talking about the job growth there. I'm just talking about price.
Let's make that the best place to buy.
Yeah.
So many times.
Yeah, because every time we do, it's like, that place sucks. That place has so much crime. I'm not talking about that. I'm just being price-wise. Okay. I actually know someone who actually did this, but Sault Ste. Marie had the lowest price in all of Ontario at $287,600. So that was
how's their community transit? Like, is it?
I actually don't know. This is just.
Okay, is it the best place to buy it based on price?
Not the best place to buy, just the most affordable place to buy.
Okay.
Yeah, this is kind of like an article saying if you don't want to leave Ontario for, out west or out east, you can still afford it. You can still afford something in Ontario. This is the article. Yeah, basically just on price. So that was the cheapest place to buy as an average home price in all of Ontario. So the next one with an average price of $409,300, North Bay came in second for affordability. And then it was Sudbury is another affordable option for home buyers who value both urban and rural living. The average home price in May of 2023 was $451,000. And then the last two areas were Bancroft area and Kingston area, with average home prices in May of 2023 at $496,500 and $555,200 respectively. So I actually had someone message me as we talked about on the podcast, and he said that he had 2 kids and a wife. He worked in the trades, so he felt like he could get work anywhere. He looked around here. He needed a place. Rent was too high, and he moved north about, I think it was like 4 or 5 hours from here. And he says he's happy and he found a house that he could afford. So if you're willing to leave your friends, your family and everything like that, you can afford a home up north. And I'm not saying that it's the best place to live. I'm just saying it's the most affordable place to live.
Who would want to necessarily do that? Like Bancroft, I drive through there all the time and I see the houses and I'm like, I bet their house is $100,000. Like I actually like look at houses and it's like big house and it's like, what that's worth. But there's one strip of little shops and the busiest Tim Hortons you will ever go to in your entire life is located in Bancroft, Ontario. But like once you're past that strip, you got nothing.
You got nothing.
Like nothing. Not even cell service.
But maybe some people like that life.
Some.
Yeah. There's going to be a demographic that does.
I am not against that. Like, I love the cottage. Like, I love it. But like,
you like coming back? Back to some action.
Unless you've grown up that way, I think it's a very tough transition.
It very much is so, yeah.
Like, it's very good for a part of the year, but
Well, those are the stories where you hear like someone moved to, I don't know, London, Ontario, and even that has some, city aspects to it, but they just miss Toronto and they just come right back.
I had a call literally the other day. She's like, I bought a condo in London because it was the only affordable, but my family's in Oakville and I want to find a way to get back. Do I sell? Do I refinance? And we went through her options, and it was literally like, grew up in Oakville, came to London, was affordable. London's a huge city, lots going on. Thought it was great. Went to school here, so I know it. But can't do it. Need to come back. And people go back to their roots.
Yeah.
So to say go elsewhere because it's more affordable, you're giving up one thing, whether it's your lifestyle or you're giving up more in terms of buying here your bigger portion of your salary. You're giving up something wherever you go.
I think if I had to go somewhere for affordable housing, I would rather move to a different province, I think, that has more to offer. Like go to Alberta. There's a lot there that you can actually do in terms of, hiking, and if you're into skiing and stuff like
Ontario
that.
is not
I wouldn't go
great.
north.
Ontario sucks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say.
No, it's true. Even in terms of
there's nothing.
things to do.
There's nothing. Ontario's flat and busy.
Ontariable is what they call it.
Terrible.
It's home and we love it. We're not leaving, so
well, we're not leaving. But I would go out west. Yeah.
I would go out west. Yeah, for sure. Even out east, somewhere like Halifax, or I know it's been not as affordable in recent times, but it's still a lot more affordable than the prices that you and I look at in the GTA. So
totally,
it's something that I would definitely do.
Rent's high. I know that in Halifax.
Yeah. I know rent. I was reading something today. Even Calgary was up 15% rent year over year, which is crazy.
Well, a lot of people are going there. I have a seller right now moving to Calgary and selling in Halton.
I don't think there's rent control there either. I'm pretty sure they can raise it to market rent. I'm pretty sure. I remember that's why a lot of investors are going to Calgary too, was because of that. Yeah. Interesting. So
that's maybe not the best thing for the people that want to go there to rent. No rent control, but again, we'll tread forward in a circular motion.
Yeah. That's kind of the theme of this podcast, is like, we don't really, everything that they talk about right now is just not really helping build more homes or make things more affordable. I think that's the worst part of this, and the most frustrating part of it from someone being in the industry is that, you're still having people priced out. I'm still seeing people fill out rental applications just to know they're getting rejected. It's just sad. It's a sad time in Canadian real estate. And I think it would be great if we could use more resources other than having our GDP be fully dependent on housing. And like I said, I think we'll see more issues within our industry, like we just saw in the construction area of Canada losing jobs. You'll see it in, lawyers' business being down. You'll see it in mortgage brokers' business being down, real estate commissions being down, which everyone already loves, so that's cool. But the painters, the landscapers, everything
it trickles down.
It trickles down throughout the economy.
What about all these protesters I keep seeing?
Where are you seeing that, like rent?
We passed it last week or the week before.
Oh, that was at Metro. Yeah. That's actually, that grocery store is still closed. Yeah, because they're protesting.
What are they protesting? Well, it's
they want more money. Basically, they like, we're working here at a grocery store and we can't afford to buy groceries.
So are they asking Metro for more money, or are they just?
I think they're asking Metro for more money. Yeah. Which is like, do I know the whole economics behind it? No, I'm sure.
That has translated to more people doing that, and now everyone's like on strike.
Yeah, I think Metro did announce they had record profits or something like that. I don't know for sure, but I think I read that.
Metro,
I think I read that somewhere. But I know grocery stores are, having record profits, but also, I don't know, like the carbon tax, when you see gas go up, there's a direct correlation with shipping groceries. Like, I don't know if they're fully gouging people. Maybe they are, and there has to be a better study into it to prove it, I guess. But maybe we can start with getting rid of the carbon tax to kind of bring things down, at least for now. Because if people working at grocery stores can't even afford to eat, it's just sad.
Yeah. And desperate people do desperate things. I've always liked Canada for the fact that there isn't the extreme levels of desperation in our country. Yeah. Yes, things are tough right now. I'm not saying they're not, but desperation, not to the extent of other countries, even the States. Like, if you're poor and homeless, like, Canada has programs, but you can still go to the hospital and get treated. Like, there's desperate things. Like, your sister has cancer. Like, people get desperate if you have no free healthcare. Like, so I've always liked Canada for that. But I'm seeing people get more and more desperate, which I'm not liking. Like, again, it's desperate people do desperate things, and that's why our crime has been historically way lower. But that's even creeping up. The misery index is even creeping up. It's just wake me up when the storm is over.
I know. It'll be fun one day when this podcast is like happy news. It's just, I don't know what to report on right now.
We should do like the positive pod. Like, let's go through
3 things we're grateful for.
Everyone say 3 things they're grateful for.
Come on, let's do it.
There has to be something.
Anyways, that's all I got for today.
Yeah.
You got anything?
All good.
All good.
We'll get through it.
Yeah, we'll make it. All right. We'll be back next week, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please give us a review. We appreciate the reviews and keep sending us messages. It's awesome to see. And if you're on Instagram or TikTok, we have a lot of short form content there, which people love the most. So we're going to keep that coming. We had a little bit of a break last week, but it'll be back and running this week. Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks so much, guys.
Yeah.
Take care. See you next week.